I don't think that the Lord and all of his disciples could have stopped the Lakers.
This team, this organization, this city, the Lakers are NBA champions once again.
Your drive is there to be the best.
The night and the championship belong to the Los Angeles Lakers.
You're now tuned in to the Lakersource podcast.
What's up, everybody? It's your host, Ranch G, with another episode of the Lakersource podcast. Today, we're going to jump in and do our mock draft for the 2017 NBA draft that happens later today. If you're listening to this, if you would, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter at Lakersource to stay up to date on all Lakers news and other NBA news as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the mock draft here in a minute, but I'd like to start out with some of the rumors of the day. One of the main things that's going on in the fallout of the D'Angelo Russell and Mozgov trade, still no Paul George. Hopefully we get that today at some point. We have that happen. I'm doing this in the morning, so hopefully this afternoon before the draft we've got Paul George, and that'll be great. But if not, we're just gonna have to wait it out till the season's over, because if Indiana doesn't trade Paul George to anybody today, I doubt he gets traded any other time between now and the beginning of the season. And if they try to trade him at the deadline for a half a season rental, they're not going to get anything for him. So, whatever. If we have to wait till midway through the season and get him in order so we can get his bird rights and offer him the bigger contract, so be it. But hopefully we're able to pull it off and get him today. Another rumor going around is the Knicks are actually looking to move Kristaps Porzingis. That's kind of insane. I know a lot of people are criticizing Phil Jackson for that move, since the unicorn looks like he could be on the move. I guess the rumor is that him skipping his exit interview really rubbed Phil Jackson the wrong way, and Phil Jackson's ready to move on and see what they're trying to see what they can get for Porzingis. I know right now they're trying to get a top 5 pick and a starter, an established starter for him. So we'll see. And the rumors are that they've talked to every single team inside the top 5. So who knows what could happen with Porzingis. It'd be kind of crazy if the Lakers could pull that off and grab Porzingis. I would give the second pick in a heartbeat. If they wanted Clarkson in the second pick for Porzingis, I'd do it instantly. I know a lot of people want Lonzo Ball, but you don't get a surefire talent like Porzingis that often. And if we have the ability to grab him, he's still young. He's already a really good player. He's only going to get better. If we could grab him and then still turn those other late first round picks and maybe Randall for Paul George, then when we leave tomorrow without drafting a single player, but leave with Paul George and Kristaps Porzingis to add to Brandon Ingram, Nance, Brook Lopez. We'd have to get a point guard, but somebody would come want to play with that core, so with that group of players. I don't know who it would be, but we'd have to get a point guard. But everything else, we'd be set, and we'd be 10 times better than we were last year. So we'll see what happens there. So again, before I get into this mock draft, the other thing I want to cover today is Nick Young actually declined his option for his player option for the last year of his contract, so Nick Young will become a free agent. That kind of stings in a way because the Lakers need three-point shooting. I really wish Nick Young would have stayed and stuck around a little bit longer. I think we could use his skills on stretching the floor and being able to hit the outside shot, because right now, looking at the roster and looking at the numbers from last year, as weird as this sounds, Brook Lopez is pretty much the best three-point shooter on the team right now. So we got to get shooting. Nothing really matters as far as making all these other upgrades unless we get some shooters. And Lonzo, if we draft Lonzo Ball especially, we really need shooters. He needs some players around him so he can actually use his skills to be able to find people on the open look. They just got to be able to knock down those open looks. So Nick Young's gone. I don't know if we're going to bring him back. He made it kind of sound like the Lakers made it appear to him that they're trying to move in a different direction. So maybe Swaggy won't be back. If that's not, if he isn't, we still have to find some shooters. So it'll be interesting to see if we can do that. Now let's go ahead and get into the mock draft, the Lakersource final mock draft for the 2017 NBA draft. With the first pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers will select Markelle Fultz. That's why they made the trade with Boston, and I think it's pretty clear that they're going to go ahead and take Fultz. So we'll move on. I think everybody's pretty much accepted that. And going forward, this is without trades. I'm not going to consider any hypothetical trades, and there's a good chance that this entire mock draft I'm about to tell you guys after this first pick is going to be completely different than what it actually is going to be. So there's going to be a lot of trades. There's going to be a lot of moving around. Players are going to get moved, and draft picks are going to get moved. So this mock draft I'm giving you guys right now probably won't be anything like what it ends up being, but we're going to do it anyways. With the second pick of the draft, our Los Angeles Lakers select Lonzo Ball. Yep, it's Lonzo Ball time. The fact that we've got Brandon Ingram and we've got Paul George wanting to join us, we don't need a wing. Josh Jackson isn't a huge need, as good as a player he is and as good as a defender he is. We need a point guard with D'Angelo leaving, so Lonzo Ball's the guy. A lot of people get what they want, and Magic gets his next, guy that can orchestrate, Showtime again. So we'll have Lonzo Ball, and we'll hopefully be able to build some players around him to be able to use his full talents. Third pick in the draft, Boston Celtics select Jason Tatum out of Duke. A lot of rumors saying that they think he's the next Paul Pierce, so I could see them taking him. Fourth pick in the draft, the Phoenix Suns select Josh Jackson out of Kansas. I think this could be De'Aaron Fox if they do trade Eric Bledsoe, but if Bledsoe's still there, I think it'll be Jackson. With the fifth pick in the draft, Sacramento Kings select De'Aaron Fox, Kentucky. That's who they've wanted all along, and they get their guy without having to trade, and I think they'd be thrilled to do that. Sixth pick in the draft, the Orlando Magic select Jonathan Isaac, forward out of Florida State. He's a really versatile player. He could potentially be a really, really good player, kind of a stretch four, really athletic guy, and I think Orlando would be joyed to have him. With the seventh pick in the draft, I see the Minnesota Timberwolves taking a shot on Frank Ntilikina, point guard out of Strasbourg. He's a foreign player. He's only 18 years old, and he's got a lot of upside. So I see that the Timberwolves could take him. There's other players that I think the Timberwolves could take also, but we already know that some of the international players are going to go eventually. It's tough to say. I haven't done any research on what the Timberwolves have been looking at or who their scouting hard is. I don't really follow them. So this is just me compiling different mock drafts and looking at some needs that they have, but I didn't really look at the people that they've brought in for workouts. So take that into note. So Timberwolves take him. Then we're at the eighth pick in the draft. The New York Knicks select Dennis Smith Jr., point guard, NC State. I believe that's who's going to be the point guard of the future for the Knicks. He's really athletic. He's basically the next Steve Francis. He's got like a 50-inch vertical. He can score, can distribute the ball. Really good player for the Knicks, and they need all the help they can get. So I believe that they could take him. Ninth pick in the draft, I see the Dallas Mavericks taking power forward Lauri Markkanen, I think that's how you say his name, from Arizona. The Mavericks can plug him in and pretty much make him the next Dirk. He's a really tall guy. He can stretch the floor, and I think that he would, he'd pretty much be the Dirk replacement on that team. Now, if he'll be as good as Dirk, I don't know, but he can shoot. I mean, he shot 42% from three last year. He's an 84% free throw shooter. Shot almost 50% from the field, so he's a good player, and I think that he takes over that role that Dirk's going to fill or leave. He'll fill the role that Dirk leaves if Dirk retires, which I think he will, but you never know. He could come back, and if he doesn't, that's just going to help out Markkanen even more to be able to learn for a year under him. Moving on, 10th pick in the draft, Sacramento Kings select guard Malik Monk out of Kentucky. So it's kind of crazy. Sacramento takes two Kentucky guys. They take Fox and Monk that are already used to playing with each other. They'll have a leg up on chemistry. Could be interesting for the Kings. 11th pick in the draft, I see the Charlotte Hornets taking Luke Kennard, Duke, shooting guard. Really good player, kind of a sharpshooter. Could be a really good player in the NBA. Could be kind of a Klay Thompson-like player where he just, he's kind of a laser-focused, laser shot, laser accurate, however you want to say it, knockdown shooter from the outside. With the 12th pick in the draft, the Detroit Pistons select Zach Collins out of Gonzaga. 7-footer, really good player. He's got a lot of intangibles. He's really versatile, guards the the rim well, can actually hit a shot. He's pretty agile for being as big as he is. Plus, with the rumors that Andre Drummond's on the market, I think that there's a good chance that they could go for a center like him right there. 13th pick in the draft, Denver Nuggets select John Collins out of Wake Forest. Pretty solid player, averaged 19 and 10 last year, 6'10 power forward. They've got Fareed, but who knows? They could move Fareed, and they need a guy that can actually be an anchor there to give them some versatile scoring. At 14, Miami Heat select OG Anunoby, forward from Indiana. He's one of the more interesting players in the draft because he tore his ACL, and a lot of people think that he would go higher if he wouldn't have got that injury. So, see the Miami Heat taking a shot on him. He's really athletic. He's a defensive stopper, and he could help them out. At 15, Portland. I could see Portland taking Justin Jackson from North Carolina. I think he'd help them out a lot. They've had a kind of a hole there, in my opinion, since Batum left at the 3, and I think Justin Jackson could be a really good player. You add him to Damian Lillard, McCollum, and Jackson. It's a pretty good team, pretty good start for the Portland Trailblazers. They've got a nice little core. With the 16th pick in the draft, the Chicago Bulls select Jarrett Allen, Texas. He is a center, kind of sized as a power forward. He's only 6'10", but he's a really strong guy and can help the Bulls down low and help them get a big man. At 17, the Milwaukee Bucks select Bam Adebayo from Kentucky. 6'10 power forward. He's a strong guy, another guy that's a real beast in the post. Doesn't have a lot of versatility, but he's a strong guy down low. He's a really good defender. He's a really good rebounder. So that's where I could totally see them go. At 18, the Indiana Pacers. This is going to be really interesting. If they trade Paul George, you can totally see them going for a small forward there. And looking at someone like Kyle Kuzma. Now, if Justin Jackson does not go earlier than this spot, I 100% expect the Pacers to take Justin Jackson there at 18, even if Paul George is on the team. But if I think Justin Jackson will be gone by then. He's a really good player. So I think that they'll take Kyle Kuzma from Utah. He's another pretty solid player. But, he's a good shooter, average 16 and 10. He could really help them out. He's a 6'9 guy. He's a taller, small forward like Paul George is. With the 19th pick in the draft, the Atlanta Hawks select TJ Leaf, power forward, UCLA. I could really see them going after him if Millsap leaves. I think Millsap's going to leave in free agency. So I don't know where Millsap's going to go, but if Millsap leaves, they're going to have to get a power forward. They traded Dwight Howard, so they could possibly use a center too. But I could see them going for TJ Leaf at that spot. At 20, back to Portland. I could see Portland going for a big right here, so I'm going to go ahead and give them Ivan Rabb, power forward center out of Cal. He's a big guy, average a lot of rebounds. I think he could help them out down low. Could potentially be, someone that could really give them a force down low if he develops. So that'd be something that you could definitely see happen and help them out. At 21, we've got the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I think the Thunder are going to go in a direction of trying to get a shooting guard. I really think they need a shooting guard, and I think they're going to look at Terrence Ferguson out of Australia. 6'7" shooting guard. He's kind of a project player, but I think that OKC does a good job of developing talent, and I see that they could totally go for that. At 22, Brooklyn Nets. I think they could go for Harry Giles, power forward out of Duke, another project player. He's been hurt, but he's got a whole bunch of upside, and they need big men help. I know we just gave him Mozgov, but they could use all the talent they can down low because Mozgov's not going to get them the production that they really need down there, and they're losing Brook Lopez, so they're going to need a lot of production from their bigs, and I think Harry Giles will help them there. At 23, the Toronto Raptors. I have them taking Jawan Evans, point guard from Oklahoma State. I think they need a point guard if Kyle Lowry leaves, and I think that that's who they'll go for based on just the fact that Kyle Lowry's leaving. 24th overall, I've got the Utah Jazz going after DJ Wilson, power forward from Michigan. He's one of the guys the Lakers are targeting, but I think he'll go a little bit before the Lakers pick him. So, that sucks, but unfortunately I think that he could be a power forward that the Utah Jazz would like to have. 25th pick in the draft, Orlando Magic select Onzej Pasicniks. I think that's how you say his name. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but he's another project player, 7'2", guy. He's an international player. He's kind of a rim protector. He also has a little bit of an outside shot, and he's got good touch around the rim. So he could be, a guy that learns from Vukovic, and they could, pair up and be a pretty good force down low. At the 26th pick in the draft, the Portland Trail Blazers select another big man, Isaiah Hartenstein from Lithuania. He's another project guy. He's a big man. He's 6'11", could play power forward, could play center. I think that's one of the things, if you're looking at Portland and they're already going to get Justin Jackson, as I said earlier, they've already got a couple other big guys. I think that's where they're most lacking. They don't need a point guard. They got Lillard. They don't need a shooting guard. They got McCollum. So I think that's where they'll go with that. And here we are to our Los Angeles Lakers. I think with the 27th pick in the draft, the Lakers are going to look at Shemi Ojale out of SMU. He had a really good workout with the Lakers. He's really versatile. He's a 6'8" guy. He's really strong, explosive, can hit the three. Really good vertical game. He can jump pretty high, dunks with force. Really strong guy, can get rebounds, score in the post. He's really versatile, can play 2 or 3 different positions. So I think his versatility will have the Lakers wanting him there. At the 28th pick in the draft, the Lakers also select Jordan Bell from Oregon, defensive stud. This guy is the guy that had multiple, several block games last year for Oregon. He had 8 blocks, I believe, against KU in the tournament. He's a force. He averaged 11 points a game, 9 rebounds, so he can give us, that power forward, that true power forward we need, even play center when we're having a small ball lineup. So I think he'll help us out, and we need all the defense we can get. And especially if you think about it, if we do trade Randall maybe in another package or something, he would be there to replace him. At the 29th pick in the draft, San Antonio takes Frank Jackson from Duke, point guard. He's another guy that Popovich could work with and maybe help out, relieve some of the void that Tony Parker could potentially leave if he does leave or retire or something like that. Or, even if he comes back, they want to start working towards getting a replacement for Tony Parker, so I think they could go in that direction. And with the last pick of the first round, I'm only going to do the first round, so the last pick of the first round, I see Utah going after Caleb Swanigan, center from Purdue. Another guy that they could have actually be a big man. We know they've got Gobert. Gobert could ask for a lot of money or want to test free agency soon. He's a really good player. He might not want to stay there. If he does, good for him, but they need a backup, and they need someone that can also play kind of the power forward position. They already got one earlier in this draft, but, they need a couple big men. I could see them going, for a point guard or somebody other than George Hill or maybe a shooting guard there. So there's a lot that Utah can do, but I think that just based on best player available at that time, I think Swanigan's the best player that's still left. Possibly Frank Mason. So that's the first round mock draft, the Lakersource first round mock draft for 2017. I had a lot of papers and notes written all over the place, so if I sounded jumbled or anything like that, I apologize, but I got a lot of names all over here written down that I've been looking at and trying to formulate this mock draft. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and there's a strong chance everything I said is just going to be completely wrong because there's going to be trades, there's going to be players taken much earlier than we think, and there's going to be guys fall. I just hope that if the Lakers do not make a trade, we come out with something like I just mentioned. If we do not make a trade and we pick all 3, that'd be a huge draft. That'd be great. And, we could use those players to add to the core, or we could package them later. Who knows? But if Randall is being moved, Jordan Bell would be a really good option to have there. Because if we get Paul George now or in the future or however that works out, but having Jordan Bell be a true power forward whenever you have Paul George at the 3, play Ingram at the 2, Lonzo at the 1, and Lopez or at the center if he stays around or if he's there and if we make this trade, that'd be a good defensive team. Ingram, George, and Bell are all pretty good defensively. So that'd be really exciting to have those, and I think it would help the Lakers out. And I think Lonzo Ball will get a lot better at defense over the next couple of years if they can develop him properly. So it could be exciting. It's going to be an exciting day. All day today we're going to see rumors. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. So we'll see what happens. But it's going to be great. We're going to have some new players on the Lakers by the end of the night. That's all I can guarantee. I guarantee there are going to be new players on the Lakers, and I guarantee they're going to help us. That's my optimism. Optimist prime. I always tell people that. They always say you're so optimistic about the moves that the Lakers make. Well, I got to be. We've got to get out of this rut we've been in. We've got to get back to the playoffs. We've got to start competing again. So I'm bringing out my optimist prime, and we're going to, in honor of Transformers and in honor of the NBA draft, we're going to do the dang thing, and we're going to get back on top soon. Thank you all for tuning in today. If you would, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter at Lakersource. If you've got anything you want to add or comment or any questions or anything like that, just comment on this video or send me a message on Twitter, and I'll respond, and we can chop it up and talk Lakers basketball. Have a good draft, everybody. Have fun. Enjoy it. We're going to have some new players. Future's looking bright. Go Lakers. Love y'all. Peace.